Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Shazwani binti Muhammad Alfa and my metric number is 2022996871 and I'm from ED2423A. For the agenda of this lesson is first I will talk about introduction, second speaking skill, third listening skill, fourth non-verbal communication, and the last one is conclusion.
Communication is important in so many aspects of our lives.
If we aren't talking, nothing's going to happen. And so communication really makes the world go round.
So to learn how we can become great communicators, we turn to journalist and special contributor to Court TV, Ashley Banfield.
If you follow these tips, I will guarantee you that anything that you endeavor to do will get easier.
We're starting off with just listen.
I've always been a real talker. In fact, my family couldn't shut me up. So I went into communications. But I quickly learned that the number one rule of being a good communicator is shut up and listen. I know that sounds weird. Everybody thinks of communication as speaking. It's the opposite. Take it in, understand, and your response will be spot on.
And she says if you're just waiting for a break in the convo to talk next,
you're just filling voids and you're not going to really reach your audience.
Next up, Ashley says whatever you're trying to get across, make it simple.
This will sound crazy, but talk to me like I'm 5. But don't make it sound like I'm 5. Everybody knows a lot about his and her stuff, but the person you're talking to doesn't. So make it easy for them. Don't make them struggle to understand it. Don't use fancy words that you use in your office. Talk to me like I'm 5, but don't pander to me. And I think you'll probably get really good results.
She says if you talk to people as if they're a kid, but in a respectful way,
you'll get a lot further and people will know what's going on. You'll waste a lot less time re-explaining yourself.
Moving along with know your audience.
You will embarrass yourself if you don't do your research and you start pontificating to people who actually know more about something than you do. And that's a bad place to be in because you've lost your credibility and people will snicker, probably inside their heads, but they won't hear what you're saying.
So she says make sure to do your research.
And then give them something they don't know. Give them something only you know. Give them a wealth of your environment. Bring all of your environment to the table and don't just deliver some of it because chances are you may miss the mark.
And finally, she says don't be afraid to ask questions.
This is critical for people who are new in a business or just starting out in their lives. People expect that of you, and if you don't, they'll suspect something. If you try to come off with a bunch of bravado and you're all of 23, you will get less respect. You think you're getting it, you're really not. Ask questions, be available to learn, don't try to prove yourself.
Because she says people can see right through that.
And proving yourself is just going to look uncomfortable.
Putting our best foot forward by learning how to become a great communicator is at the top of the list.
For the learning outcome, first, should be able to know how to use a good language when speak in the classroom. Second, should be able know how to be a good listener. And the last one, should be able to deal with nonverbal communication student. Communicator is someone who is able to talk about their ideas and emotions in a way that other people understand. Effective communicators have open and honest communications, active listening skill, and a friendly tone in conversation to avoid misunderstanding. Speaking effectively is defined as speaking in such a way that your message is clearly heard and is possibly acted upon. There are 2 elements to speaking effectively: what you say and how you say it. What you say means your choice of word. The word you might use when chatting to your student are likely to be quite different from those used in a formal presentation or interview. Effective speaking. First, choosing your words. In a doubt about your meaning, your audience will come back to the word that you use and double check what you might have meant. It is therefore important to choose carefully, especially when you are saying something important. First, your audience, the word you choose will be different. If you are talking to 200 people of a conference, a trusted college, your boss, or your children, you need to think about your audience overall level of understanding of the subject and also the type of language that you use. Short sentences are easier to process and understand. Using short sentences also create urgency. Simpler words are also easy to understand. If you cannot explain something in simple terms, you have to probably not understood it yourself. This is particularly important if your audience are not all native speakers of the language. Second one is your voice. For instance, if self-esteem is low, it may be reflected by its hesitancy in the voice. A shy person may speak quietly, but someone who is confident in themselves will be more likely to have command of their voice and clarity of speech. It is important to get used to the sound of your own voice. Most people are more relaxed in a private situation, particularly at home where there are no pressure to conform to any other social rules and expectations. That is not in the case in public situations when they are also sort of influence exactly upon the way people speak. Listening skill. Listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret message in the communication process. Listening is key to all effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. As a result, communication breaks down. The sender of the message can easily become frustrated or irritated. Good communication, being an active listener, paying full attention to the speaker, understanding their message, and acknowledging their feeling foster a deeper connection and a promote sense of empathy. Listening is not same as hearing. Hearing refers to the sound that enter your ear. It is a physical process that, provided you do not have any hearing problem, happen automatically. Listening, however, requires more than it. Requires focus and concentrate efforts, both mental and sometimes physical as well. Listening means paying attention not only to the story, but how it told, the use of language and voice, and how the other people use his or her body. In other words, it means being aware of both verbal and non-verbal message. Your ability to listen effectively depends on the degree of which you perceive and understand this message. Listening is not a passive process. In fact, the listener should be at least as engaged in the process as the speaker. The phrase active listening is used to describe this process of being fully involved. I will give you 5 purposes of listening. First is specifically focus on the message being communicated avoid distraction and preconception. Second, to gain a full, accurate understanding into the speaker's point of view and ideas. Third, to practically assess what is being said, to observe the non-verbal signal accompanying what is being said to enhance understanding. And the last one, to show interest, concern, and concentration. The last one, non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is the transfer of information through body language, facial expressions, gesture, screen space, and more. For example, smiling when you meet someone convey friendliness and acceptance and openness. Non-verbal communication depends on expression and physical movement as opposed to verbal communication or the use of the language to transfer information through written text, speaking a sign language. Why is non-verbal communication important? Non-verbal communication is important because it gives us valuable information about situation, including how a person might be feeling, how someone receives information, how to approach a person or a group of people. Paying attention to and developing the ability to read non-verbal communications is an invaluable skill you can leverage at every stage of your career. Here, I give you type of non-verbal communications that I can list. Is first, body language. It's the way someone position their body depending on the situation, the environment, and how they are feeling. Second one is movement. The way you move your arm and your leg, such as walking quickly or slowly, standing, sitting, or fidgeting, and can all convey different messages to onlookers. Example, sitting still and paying attention in a meeting convey respect and attention. The third one is posture. This way you sit or stand can also communicate your comfort level, professionalism, and general disposition toward a person or conversation. For example, someone might slouch their shoulder if they feel tired, frustrated, or disappointed. And the fourth, gesture. While gestures vary widely across communities, they are generally used both intentionally and unintentionally to convey information to others. For example, someone might display a thumbs up to communicate confirmation or that they feel positive about something that you teach in your class. The last one, space. Creating or closing distance between yourself and the people around you can also convey message about your comfort level, the importance of the conversation you desire to support or connect with others, and more. For example, you might stand 2 or 3 feet away from a new contact to respect their boundaries. Next, how to read nonverbal cues. First, posture. If a person has their shoulder back and spine straight, this is a sign that they are engaged, listening, and open to the idea or information you are presenting. If they are exhibiting poor posture, with their shoulders low or raised and spine bent, they might be nervous, anxious, or angry. Second one, use of arm. If a person has their arm down to their side on the table or arranged in some open way is a sign that they feel positive and ready to absorb information. If their arms are closed, they might be expressing some sort of negative emotions. Third, use of leg. If a person has both feet placed flat on the ground, this is a sign that they feel open to communication. If their legs are crossed or arranged in some other closed formation, it might be feeling irritated or stressed. And the last one, use of facial expressions. If you are communicating with someone who is frowning, has a furrowed brow of tight lips, you might pause to ensure they not feel confused, angry, or some negative emotions. If you are communicating with someone who has a soft smile, relaxing facial muscle, or gently raised eyebrow, this is a sign that they feel good about the information you are presenting. For the conclusion, in the classroom, it is important for both teachers and students to be effective communicators. Speaking clearly is essential for understanding, developing comprehension, and generating a healthy learning environment. Both teacher and student may create a more dynamic and enriching learning environment in the classroom by improving their interpersonal and speaking skills. Better understanding, active involvement, and a positive academic experience can be encouraged by clear and interesting communication.